Welcome Don Brown, the first president of Granite Golf, Inc. He was responsible for setting up the bylaws of the club. He has in his possession much memorabilia and stories. And we've just reduced his speech from 1 hour and 50 minutes to, we're about to find out. Don, welcome.
Thank you, Skip. I was involved in the Granite Golf project, as I call it, for a total of 6 years, the last 2 of which I was honored to be appointed the president of the Granite Golf Club, founding president. Before I get into something more detailed, I just want to take this opportunity to pay tribute to 3 of our colleagues with whom Granite Golf might possibly never have succeeded, who are no longer with us. First of all, Dr. Bob Marshall, first chair of the board of Granite Golf, first life member of Granite Golf, and former president of the Granite Club. Milton Hess, real estate development lawyer and former president of the Granite Club. Paul LaBelle, accountant and business consultant and former president of the Granite Club. Being a corporate lawyer, I was extensively involved in governance matters, particularly the relationship between Granite Club and Granite Golf. I incorporated Granite Golf as a wholly owned subsidiary of Granite Club at the instructions of the board of directors of the Granite Club. Ordinarily, a parent company is ultimately responsible for the obligations of its wholly owned subsidiary. The Granite Golf project required approval by a majority of the Granite Club members to move forward. There was extensive concern among Granite Club members that should Granite Golf suffer financial problems, that the Granite Club could find itself in the legal position of having to, quote, bail out, quote, its wholly owned subsidiary, with even possibly remotely potential assessments to Granite Club members. If this issue wasn't dealt with, the membership approval by Granite Club members was unlikely. Accordingly, I obtained an infamous legal opinion from the Granite Club's long-standing law firm that said, in spite of the parent-subsidiary relationship, with the imposition of several conditions to be strictly complied with, that the parent Granite Club would not be liable for the financial obligations of the wholly owned subsidiary Granite Golf. These conditions, such as separate officers, directors, and auditors, sought to stress the independence of Granite Golf from the Granite Club. I read this opinion letter at several town hall meetings, but there remained much criticism of it by opponents of the golf project. Some lawyers in this group were very outspoken in their criticism of the opinion, and the law firm insisting it was clearly incorrect. Threats of lawsuits against Granite Club and Granite Golf directors and management were made. Eventually, the Granite Club members at the most attended membership meeting in the history of the Granite Club approved the golf project, and the rest is history. Our dream was realized.
Don, thank you very much, and especially thank you for your contribution to governance of Granite Golf, Inc. Thank you, Donald.
Thank you, Skip.
We are now in the prestigious office of Gary Caron, Director of Athletics at the Granite Club. So Gary spent a fair amount of time with the club during inception, and because of his general athletic qualifications, he was consulted regularly. So Gary, do you have any great memories?
Well, a couple of memories that I do have are more in the winter, because one of the ideas was that we wanted to make it a year-round destination. And so one beauty was the 3-on-3 hockey tournament, which we did a couple of years. The first year we shoveled the rink, and then it all melted. So that was the year one of our 3-on-3 hockey tournament. Second year was probably about -15. And we did get the tournament off. There was 2 rinks. We ended up, Mike Johnson, a former NHL player, played in the tournament. And the goal was that Mike was going to do a little speech at lunch. He played 13 years in the NHL. He ended up winning the tournament. That was not part of the negotiation. He was supposed to lose, but he couldn't help himself of being a competitive guy, and they ended up winning 12-11 in the final game. And then that was the last year we did the 3-on-3 hockey tournament.
Terrific. Well, if there's just one last question I want to ask you, you are recognized correctly so as one of the finest athletes in this club. So I want to ask, at Toronto Ladies Club on the 18th hole, why would an athlete of your skill level put your golf ball right in the bar, like right in the garden inside the bar?
Fact or fiction, I think, on this one was that the individual who was hosting me there gave me the wrong yardage. Okay, that's point number one. So I pured that tee shot, and then I looked up to see it land on the green. I didn't see it land at all.
Land on the green. This is hearsay. This is absolute hearsay.
So then, I think that, it probably was a foot or two over the green. And when I got up there, I heard a lot of laughter, a lot of probably snickering. And so came up looking for my ball, and then someone yells out from the porch, "It's over here." And when I come, they point to a shrub, and it's probably positioned perfectly about 6 feet up off the ground in the shrub.
Just about in someone's drink.
Exactly. So I think there was someone who might be holding the camera right now might have had something to do with that ball placement.
Great to see you, and thanks for your comments.
Thank you.
We welcome Tom Corcoran. Tom was a member of the Granite Club Board during the development of the golf club. Amongst other things, he ran a number of think tanks for the board and made significant contributions to the technical side of our operations. But in particular, I remember Tom in a final debate as to whether the golf club should proceed or not. Tom was most convincing in his eloquent manner and made a significant contribution at that point. Tom, your recollections.
Well, thank you, Skip. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate you and all the people assembled on the celebration of the 20th anniversary of the founding of Granite Golf. Tremendous milestone. My recollection of the meeting that you mentioned is that there was an agenda item to approve a motion that would have given approval to proceed ahead with the formation of the Granite Golf project. I don't remember what the specific motion was, but it did constitute a commitment to move ahead. And the events leading up to that meeting had extended back at least a year, probably more when I think about it. There had been a number of attempts to buy existing clubs that were already on the market, and at the time there were many. But each attempt involved a tremendous amount of due diligence on the part of the board, the standing committees, and the special committee that was formed. And to everyone's frustration, each time we got close to closing a deal, Club Link would swoop in and pick off the opportunity. Eventually, the board decided to abandon the buy strategy and pursue a build strategy, a decision that opened up a whole new window on the world, a much more complicated one with many, many unknowns. At this particular meeting, there seemed to be a hesitancy to make a decision, and it was probably influenced by decisions made in years gone by that had met with member reaction. With such a broad and diverse membership base, it's impossible to please all the people all of the time. And I recall asking our advisor, Tom McBroom, who was on the telephone at the time, if the proposal on the table was riskier than others that he'd seen. And he responded that, if anything, this proposal had less risk. And none of us had been through this kind of a project before. So his opinion carried a great deal of weight. So at that point, I made the observation that the board had done great work over an extended period of time. Standing and special committees had gone above and beyond what was expected of them, and our advisor had made a recommendation. We would never have all the answers to all the questions. We would never please all the members all of the time. So we needed to assess the situation based on the information at hand and, frankly, take a leap of faith to make a decision. Or stop talking about this subject because it is really distracting to the board. There was a long silence. I wondered if I had stepped on a landmine, and then the chair called for a vote to proceed. Vote was held, and the rest is history. And it looks to me like tomorrow's history, that's called the future, is in excellent hands. So congratulations again, and good luck.
We welcome Warren Finley, enthusiastic golfer, founding member of the Granite Golf Club, past president of the Granite Club 2009-10. And Warren, do you have any fabulous recollections of your golf at Granite Golf Club?
Yes, Skip. I guess I have three things that I remember clearly about Granite Golf. And I guess the first one was, actually, before the club was opened, I was having breakfast with Paul Lavelle after one of our early morning tennis games. And Paul, in his normal way, was quietly trying to persuade me that my wife and I should join Granite Golf. I hadn't had much time to think about it because I was busy in my working life. But I said to Paul, after your discussion with me, I think my wife and I would really like to join. But I said, I already belong to a golf course. I belong to Club Link. And 2 golf memberships is sort of out of the question right now. And then he kept talking to me, and I said, wait, Paul. I said, I think I'll try to join. I said, I have a new senior marketing executive coming in from New York. I'm going to try to transfer that membership over to him. And if I'm successful with my HR department, I will join. So a week later, and I said that would be 4 months, at least 4 to 5 months. If you want to give me the time, then okay. If not, okay, because he needed some memberships. So anyway, a week later, I get a nice letter from Granite Golf saying, welcome to the club, and thank you very much, with an invoice which was payable fully in 6 months. Anyway, a week later, I saw Paul, and I said, Paul, I thought we sort of said that I needed some time to put this together. He just quietly smiled at me, and he said, I know you'll make it work for it.
Well done, Paul. Well done, Warren.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end. My other memory is how much my wife hadn't golfed before until we joined Granite Golf. And really, one of the highlights during the week was coming home after work Thursday evenings and listening to all the fun my wife had at Ladies' Day in the morning, golfing with friends and learning how to play the game. And that was really positive for my wife. And my other recollection of how much enjoyment I got was when I was on the board. I worked with a number of Granite Golf board members, and one of the highlights was trying to figure out ways we could use the club during the winter. And one of the big highlights was, and Gary Caron was very excited about it, but also my son-in-law, Dave Beeston, who was not a skier, but a skater and hockey player, how enthused he was one day coming back after they had a pond hockey tournament. And he thought it was the greatest thing that ever happened. So, I mean, those are just good memories.
Well, that was a great contribution to the golf, and thank you. And just between you and me, would you mind telling me how many Granite Golf trophies do you have on your wall?
I'm looking right now.
Warren, thank you.
I have more ski trophies.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care, Skip.